We're live. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm Jenny Shrodes. I'm a registered dietitian, certified diabetes care and education specialist at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. And every second and fourth Tuesday, going on our fourth year, I get to team up with Cameron Stauffer, who is running all the AV and doing the chat today, and Chef Michael Carnahan. We're so glad to be here on the second Tuesday of 2024. We have a very special guest today, and you all, if you've been following the hype, because there's been a lot of hype about it, it's Dr. Bernadette Melnick, who we all refer to lovingly as Bern. So Bern, we would love to have some of your positivity and your some of your tips
energy
for 2024.
Absolutely. Happy New Year, Buckeyes. We are so blessed to have a wellness culture here at Ohio State so that all of you can reach your highest levels of health and well-being. If you did not set a New Year's resolution, I am not here to throw guilt on you. No guilt. Worry about the future, guilt about the past are the two most wasted emotions. If you didn't set that New Year's resolution, consider today, January 1, set a new goal. Healthier eating, maybe, that you're going to learn about from Jenny and Mike. We're so grateful. Big dose of vitamin G to both of you. And set a goal that's a little higher than what you're currently doing. Because the inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard. We believe in you. You can do it. Let's continue to join together to make Ohio State the healthiest university for all of our Buckeyes. Go Bucks!
Awesome. Thank you, Bern. So those of you out there watching virtually, you have probably heard a little bit more background noise than you normally do. That's because we have a live audience today. And we want to thank you, Cameron, Mike, and I. We want to thank you so much for your interest and coming out. In Columbus, it is dreary and rainy, and it's not the kind of weather anyone wants to come to. But here we are in the College of Nursing on Neal Avenue in this beautiful kitchen with all these beautiful faces. Thank you. So let's give yourselves a round of applause. Today, we are starting off 2024 with a really tasty, healthy recipe for poached salmon. So we've never poached anything before in this demo. So I'm excited to pass along this technique that is very easy and takes the lean protein that we are constantly asking you to choose and keeps it moist. It's a wonderful method of cookery. We're also going to pair that with Parmesan, baked Parmesan fries, right?
Yep.
What else do you have to say
Carrot
about
fries.
this?
Baked Parmesan carrot fries. Yes.
Are there any other kind?
Well, we could do other root vegetables too.
We could.
I mean, they're great, but we're trying to stay away from the carb potatoes a little bit. Doing some carrots. I hope you like them. Give them a try.
Yep. Not going to spike blood sugar quite as much as potatoes. And then at the end, this, I'm going to warn you, this is going to go a little bit longer than it typically does, but it will be recorded if you want to go back and look at it. At the end, we're going to talk about repurposing your meals and how we're going to take the leftover salmon and the fries and how we're going to work that into our lunches and breakfast. So I brought my Tupperware along with me and we'll show you how we do that at the end. So I think, Mike, you have me starting off first.
Yeah, we're going to start with the carrot fries because they're going to take the longest in the oven. So Jenny's starting out with some carrot fries. You can peel them. You don't have to. But we're going to start with the root vegetables first. These are really good. You can do this if you didn't have carrots, if you had parsnips in your fridge, those would work too. I've made zucchini fries before. We've done beet fries before. So explore a little bit with some of those other vegetables and see if you like the method. I'm big on the method that we're using. So not only carrots, you can throw some other stuff in there as well.
Mike, will you give me some gloves?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna put some gloves on. We're being careful about what we do here today for sure, because we've got an audience that gets to eat at the end. Thank you. All right, so I've peeled this carrot, and like Mike said, you can just give it a good scrub. You don't have to peel your carrot if you don't want to. I kind of like it peeled, and then I'm gonna make sure that they're all about the same size, so cut that carrot like that. Mike's got some already cut up. These are about 1/2 inch, I would say. Do you call that a 1/2 inch?
We call it French fry
julienne?
cut or a 1/2 inch French fry cut.
I'm trying to make everything so much fancier.
Technically, it's like a French fry cut, 1/2
So-
inch cut.
I cut in half, and I like to have that flat surface. But to get that cut, I have to cut it again. So I'm going to go in again, keeping my fingers out of the way, and also try not to waste this beautiful carrot. All right, so now I have planks, and then I can just cut them into the shape I want. And guarantee they are not going to be the precision that Mike's were. But there we have some pretty even French fry cuts of carrot. So I'm going to put this to the side now that I've shown you how to cut French fries. And we've got these beautiful ones already here. The recipe says to make an egg wash. So I'm cracking the eggs into this bowl. And I'm going to add some water. And talk to us, Mike, about when you add water to this egg wash.
So this is basically just to keep this mixture on the carrots. You could do this if you didn't want to use the egg. We're trying to cut down on the fat a little bit. So that's why we're doing a little bit more protein in this one. So we were using the eggs in the water. You could certainly toss these in a little olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and the Parmesan would stick on there as well. Or just probably water, a little water in there would be good too. But this adds the flavor, it adds the protein.
And I'm not afraid of this egg wash. This egg wash is with this meal. So before we started, we were talking about combining foods and what does that meal look like. And the thing is that these eggs, even though we know they have cholesterol and fat, there's very little that's left on the fries. And probably we're going to have a bunch of eggs left over. So go ahead and use it as a binder. I'm going to put this Parmesan cheese in this bowl. And what I'm going to do is take the carrot and run it through the egg wash and then roll it around in the Parmesan cheese. This seems a little bit longer than the ones you use. So I'm just going to crunch it up a little bit. My intuition is telling me. All right. So we're going to take these carrots, throw them in here. I'm going to keep one hand clean. It's great to have gloves at home. How many of you out there work with gloves at home so you don't get messy? Awesome. And then throw a couple in there, toss that around.
This works for a lot of different vegetables. We've done parsnips, we've done Brussels sprouts like this as well.
You know what I'm thinking right now is that at home, I love good Parmesan cheese, but I also like the green can. And that green can, that fine brown Parmesan would cover this like crazy.
It doesn't come out as well. And say if you use even a fresh grated, I mean, this is a shredded and it comes out a little bit better. It still melts. But you can use a pecorino, would be nice in this too, or maybe an Asiago would be nice in this, a harder cheese. But
okay, if I go to the fridge and all I see is the green can, I'm going to use it.
you go for it.
Okay, so there are the carrots.
Okay.
Should I keep working on this?
You can keep working on this one, then we'll start our poaching process here. This is going to take about 6 to 8 minutes. And a lot of people think that this poaching is really difficult. The only thing that I want to remind you is we're going to go right below boiling. So about 180 degrees. Boiling is 212. So we're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to turn it down just till we see no more bubbles. We can actually poach a couple different proteins in here. And whether we take this, when we start adding our flavor to it, then we're going to call it a court bouillon. Otherwise, it would just be a flavored liquid. Difference between really a stock and a court bouillon is the addition of a vinegar or a wine or an acid. So we're going to make this into a court bouillon or a poaching liquid. We're going to add our salmon today. We got four nice fillets. These are about 4.5, 5 ounces. We're going to lower this right into our warm water. You could do this with chicken. You can do this with other white fishes. You have those available. And a lot of people think this is really hard, but this is a really easy cooking method.
I think a lot of people misunderstand it too. That that it's not going to be the kind of consistency you want from the protein when it comes out, but really it does preserve the
it's
moisture.
different. It's different. We use this method a lot too to cut down on the fat. So we're not sauteing this in butter. We're not deep frying it in breadcrumbs. We are poaching this in a seasoned liquid that has no fat at all. So we're going to add a little bit of our white wine vinegar.
And that's for flavor and what else?
Flavor and the acidity of it will help technically cook the protein in here. We're going to add a couple bay leaves and a couple of peppercorns. I have the colorful peppercorns. You can use black. If you just have the black ones or the white ones, that's fine to use too. I have the colorful ones. Just a little different flavor. And then we're going to use some fresh dill. So dill, I know, is really expensive to get right now, but if you have fresh thyme, if you have a little garden, windowsill garden, and any herbs you have, fresh parsley looks good in here too. Not a lot of flavor, but it's nice to use for poaching. We're smelling this dill right away, and just a little pinch of salt and pepper.
The carrots are really sweet.
And we're going to turn this down a little bit. We don't want it to be boiling. We want it to be right below boiling. And then we're going to cover this. So this is going to go about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how thick your fillet is. And what this does, it keeps all the moisture in this fish. Same with chicken. If you've never done this method before, it's really nice. I like poaching chicken because then you can make a nice chicken salad out of it, or just have it in a nice sandwich, or slice it and have it in different applications. But it's really easy. So
Yeah,
how hard was that? Wasn't it
That
hard?
wasn't hard. And to
Okay.
speak to, you said, I like to have some left over. Make more than you think you need for dinner. Because then you stick it in a Tupperware, and we can talk about how do we eat that throughout the week and not get bored because it's the same thing looking at us.
Yeah, fill the pot.
Yeah, so make a bunch of chicken. You can do chicken salad. You can do, I have a friend who will then chop it up and sprinkle taco seasoning on it and make tacos. You just can do so many
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
I'd love
nice.
to hear in the chat. And you are waving at us.
Filling for a burrito or something.
Yeah.
This question is in regards to the carrots. We have somebody who has an egg allergy in their house, and so the egg wash would not work for them. Any suggestions for a replacement?
So just a little water would work. You could
Oil.
use the egg replacement with other egg replacements you can use. They have available now, or just a little olive oil. Toss it in a little olive oil would work just as well. Just something moist where your cheese would stick to it. Okay, so we're going to move on to our final sauce for this salmon today. Our salmon is poaching very nicely. It's not, I don't know if you can see it in the monitor, but it's not really boiling at all. We have this about 180 degrees right now. It looks fantastic. Jenny's finishing up her fries. We're going to get some of those in the oven.
When I started poaching, this totally intimidated me because I'm kind of like, let's get in there, the highest heat possible, let's get it done, watch it. And this really tries my patience because it looks like it's not moving.
It's a different
So it
cooking
takes a
technique,
little-
but it's really easy once you get the hang of it. Just put it on here, make sure it's at the right temperature, and let it go. So 6 to 8 minutes, we're going to pull that
Have
out.
courage.
Nice. Have courage. Give it a try. I'm big on the cooking methods. So once you understand this method, what else could you poach? You could poach vegetables in here. You could poach chicken in here, other kinds of fish. I love doing halibut like this, or sea bass, or different kinds of snapper, or any of that stuff work. I mean, any firm fish.
With this method, it really gives you license to do some nice sauces.
Or salsas, or whatever.
Yeah,
Like keep it
so-
fresh.
Yeah. If you want, we're going to do a really ultra healthy sauce today.
Yeah.
But I would poach this for, a dinner party or a celebratory meal, and maybe use a little bit of a unhealthy or fattier sauce because I've already got this great.
This would make a nice, once you have it cold too, you can make a nice salmon patty out of that, or a cold salmon salad or something like that. Many uses for that.
Another question. What happens if you get the salmon at the wrong temperature, or how can you tell that it's at the correct temperature?
So as long as it's not boiling, you're good. So if you boil it for even just a second or two, it's fine. but try to monitor that temperature so it's not like ripping apart your salmon. If it's not boiling, you're fine. The water is still about 180 degrees, and that's really where we want to cook it at, and it can cook there 6 to 8 minutes. It's like turning off your pasta. When you're boiling the pasta, you turn it off, it's still going to continue to cook in there, and that's what we're looking for, that even temperature.
How do you tell that the salmon is cooked through or done?
So depending on your fillet, you start to look at your salmon. I'll show you this when we pull it out, but it's got this normal separation. It's called flaking in seafood. And so when the salmon cooks, the little pieces of the meat start to flake apart in like little sections. You'll see it. And you can almost see right down through the fish itself. I'll show you one when I pull it out. But you can tell when salmon is done because it really starts flaking. Or if you push it and it starts to separate just a little bit, that's fine. You can use an instant ready thermometer on here too, about 150 degrees. But this is a really delicate fish. And even if it is slightly pink, just let it go a little bit longer. Or, a lot of people like their salmon on the pinker side, but try to make sure it's at least 140 to 150 degrees.
Yeah, and I'm really a fan of those instant read thermometers. For me, it was a game changer years ago when I got one, because no longer did I worry about uncooked meat. I didn't worry about taking things off the stove or out of the water and then realizing when I cut into it, it wasn't done. So that instant read thermometer, print off from the internet, cooking temperatures for different meats and put it on the side of your fridge. It'll change everything and take the worry out of it. All right, so you're onto the yogurt sauce.
We're onto this beautiful yogurt sauce, and this is really simple. We're going to start with some capers. And if you have never had capers before, these are like little intense olives. They're really good. People use them in tartar sauce and different Italian dishes. They grow on a little bush. Actually, they're really small, and you want to pick them, or they're harvested when they're really small for their nice bitter flavor. And a lot of times you have to rinse these, especially if you want to watch the sodium in your diet, because they're soaked in brine usually. So we're going to take some capers we're going to put in here, and we're going to use some fresh dill.
We have a question about the dill.
Okay.
What is a good alternative to dill if you don't like it?
So you can put some fresh thyme in here. You could do a little basil. It's going to have a whole different flavor. Some parsley, just some regular parsley would give it that green flavor, or the green color, I mean. And we have a little lemon juice, a little bit of capers in here, a little bit of pepper. You're going to get the kind of the blander tartar sauce kind of dish, but it's really good with the yogurt, and you'll be able to taste all those. Maybe a little bit more lemon juice if you're not using the dill, and just use a little extra parsley. Fennel, sometimes fennel ferals are really good to use if you can find those.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, say that. Then we're going to do our Greek yogurt. 3/4 of a cup here in this recipe. And then we're going to do a little bit of lemon juice in this recipe. I'll pick my seeds out here. And then just a little pinch of salt and pepper.
Any questions from the audience? Just because you don't have a chat doesn't mean you can't ask Karen.
Do we start with frozen fish, or do we need to thaw first?
It should be thawed, otherwise it's going to cook from the outside in. This is a different cooking method where it's going to cook from the outside in. So I would make sure that it's thawed. Just pop it in your fridge overnight, night before if you can.
Anybody else?
So the only thing we want to about grilled fish,
Yeah.
and I prefer with fish.
Yeah.
That's fine. And of course, sushi.
Yes. Yeah.
What is your advice on that?
Okay, so I'm going to repeat the question so everybody at home can hear. The question is about fish safety, really. So if sushi is safe to eat, and we like our salmon in particular cooked on the medium rare side, what are Mike's thoughts on that?
So, people are eating sushi all the time. A lot of times that fish is sushi grade, which means it's been preserved and it's really high quality. The fat in it's really, really nice. People are eating raw fish all the time. I mean, I think it's healthy if you like it. A lot of people, I'm not a big fan of raw fish other than sushi. I mean, I'll eat tuna and stuff in sushi, but for dishes that like salmon dishes and other dishes like that, I prefer to have it like cooked.
So
But
I-
nutritionally wise, I don't think there's a huge difference.
not a huge difference, but we know that you can eat medium rare salmon, fish. And what would the temperature be to cook that to?
140 to 155.
140.
Yeah.
So stick to the 140 as long as you've got that thermometer inserted into the thickest part of the meat and it says that you're there, you're good. All meat, once you remove it from heat, is going to rise in temperature a little bit. So you just kind of have to feel that out. And then as far as sushi goes, I'm going to take, well, all fish. Mike always tells me this. Get to know the person you're buying your fish from. Find out when the fish comes in. We live in Columbus, Ohio, and we're taking a risk having seafood and shellfish. So really know who you're buying it from when it comes in. We know that fish and seafood and all kinds of things are coming in fresh every day at the airport here. So that's a good idea to ask when it came in. In fact, I bought some salmon at a local grocery store today, or not today, but this weekend, that I don't usually buy fish from. And that poor guy, I had so many questions, but one of the things I said is, how often do you get your fish in? Every day. How often did that fish come in? Did that fish come in
When did that one
today?
come in again?
He said this one came in today. So I felt really good about getting that fish. Yeah.
And a lot of it in the deli case in the seafood counter is previously frozen, so you have to watch that too, because then you can't take it home and freeze it again if you're not going to use it. So
Look at
that's
this.
important. So we're ready to do a little plating on this. This poached about 7 minutes. It looks fantastic. So I want to see if you can see this little flaking I was talking about. I'm going to pull my dough off of here.
I just gave myself a facial opening the oven door.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So on this salmon, I don't know if you can see it really close, but we can see the natural separations in the salmon. And it's nice and tender to the touch. It just falls apart. It's tender. It's juicy. Beautiful. See the little separations in here? It's really nice. So these are perfectly poached. We're going to top them with a little bit of our dill sauce, our caper, dill, lemon.
Ooh, these look great.
So we have these setting over here. If you want to we put some little extra dill and lemon on there if you want to squeeze some more on here.
Out.
I know they're fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Where do I go with it, Cam? Okay.
I could smell those as soon as you open them out. Yeah.
Ooh, can you see
So
that?
parsley
How
on
does it
those.
smell out there? Smelling good? I cannot wait to eat these. These look amazing.
So those just get a little parsley and salt and pepper, and you can put them on a little platter here.
Okay. And I'll let you get the other ones out because I like oven mitts.
Okay.
All right. This looks amazing. Okay, definitely want to use that parchment paper at home. Oh my gosh. I heard something. Did somebody ask? How long?
15 minutes, 15 to 17 minutes on these. But once again, it depends on how big you cut your carrots. Sometimes if you go a higher temperature, the carrots will still get a little crispy, which I don't mind. We're doing a carrot fry. But if they're a little, the oven temperature is a little lower, it may take a little bit longer.
They look so yummy. They're a little bit charred on the very end. And Mike's right, that cheese was the right cheese to use. It's gotten all toasty and brown, and that brings out the flavor of everything. So I'll make this look a little prettier. I hope. Ooh, look at that.
We used a lot of cheese in this.
I mean, you could really like serve it like this on a serving.
I know, they're like,
Right? But
they're
we
like
can
planks.
also- They are. Just run a knife through it. Oh my
maybe if
gosh.
you spread these apart a little bit more on your
Yeah.
sheet pan when you go to bake them, we'll have more of a fry, grab and go kind of fry. But these are really,
Some of these that are all covered in cheese are so crunchy.
yeah, I don't think people will complain about the cheese.
No. And again, it's about balance. So we've got the nice lean salmon. We have this non-starchy veggie carrot. Those things are not going to raise blood sugar. The cheese isn't going to raise blood sugar either. What is the thing, the nutrition aspect of this carrot that we're watching out for? What do we not want to go overboard with this? Salt, the cheese, right? There's not very much cheese on here, even though they're loaded. I love recipes like that.
It looks like a lot
It
because
looks so
they're
indulgent.
big and shredded.
You know, we're
It's
gonna
a
get.
big shredded
I'm gonna get
cheese.
so much enjoyment out of that. Okay, so there they are. There are those beautiful carrots. Put them over here. Now,
Over there.
let's talk a little bit about this. We're gonna have this beautiful salmon with the yogurt sauce and the carrot fries. Our blood sugar is gonna thank us. It's not gonna go high. In fact, those of you who take insulin for your meals are probably not going to have to take any or just a very small amount to keep your post-meal blood sugar under 180. What we've got here are different Tupperwares. So Cam and I kind of put our heads together and we brought in some things that we like to use. So here's a nice plastic reusable with a lid. It's got separations. You have to have the tools to do the job, everybody. So if you don't have something like this that you like to look at, you like the way it feels, you like the way the top rests on there, you like that you can take it from freezer to stove to serving to microwave, you've got to get some, invest in that, and then that's going to be half the battle. We've got the salmon left over.